Hello everyone, Lucky here, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys my Week 5 battle versus Middy and his Collingwood Corviknights. Now Middy is a very good battler, and this is going to be a big week for me for a couple reasons. One, because Middy is in conference, and currently he's only one game behind, but if he wins, we'll be tied in record, but he will then have the tiebreaker, so he'll technically be ahead of me. And is someone who just missed out on playoffs last season because of a head-to-head tiebreaker, I know that is very important. Second, for me, it just seems a lot better to be 4-1 versus 3-2. I know that's only one game difference, but just the amount of wins over losses is a lot bigger then. So I really want to get to that 4-1. So with that said, let's get into the team builder and see what his team is and what I will be bringing to try to counter that. So you can see my team on the left over here, and on the right we have Middy's Collingwood Corviknights. Now he has a team of Mega Sharpedo, Dracozolt, Tyranitar, Landorus Eye with Sandforce, Azelf, Primarina, Silvally, Bronzong, Flareon, Hitmonchan, and Gourgeist. And so looking at his team and the threats of his team, his offensive threats to me are, the main one is his Sand offense. And Sand is super threatening this generation with the introduction of the fossils. And specifically, I think Dracozolt even more so than Dracovish for Sand, just because in previous generations, one aspect to countering a Sand team would be bring your bulky grass, which could still be useful here with Dracozolt, but also bulky waters could come in, and while they don't necessarily resist the stab of Sand teams if they're doing rock or ground, they hit them super effectively. And so you were able to just throw in your bulky water, tank a hit just because of their natural bulk, and then do significant damage with your water moves back. However, Dracozolt kind of makes it hard to bring your bulky water because it's just going to hit Bulk Beak and crush them. And so I'm worried about his Sand offense, which kind of encompasses the T-Tar, the Dracozolt, and the Landorus Eye. And then Primarina is also an offensive threat I have to be worried about. I don't switch in particularly well. I mean, Venusaur is a great switch in, although it does get coverage. But Venusaur is would have to do a lot of work this week. It switches into a lot. So yeah, that's something to be aware of. Luckily, I can outspeed Primarina and do some damage back to it. But those are the main offensive threats I'm worried about. Main defensive pains is Bronzong, because it's really his bulkiest thing. And it can take quite a few hits that the rest of the team doesn't like to. Landorus, I put it there mostly for the Tapu Koko because I really like to spam my electric moves, but it doesn't allow me to do that, and also it only takes about 50% from a Dazzling Gleam, so yeah, it would be Koko 1v1. And what type is Silvally is something that could be a bit of an issue to go through depending on what type it is. So what I think he's going to bring, I'm almost certain that Dracozolt, Bronzong, Tyranitar, and Primarina are coming. I mean, his team's built around Sand, so that Sand core's coming, and it's just too good not to. Bronzong he really needs as that defensive option for his team. It's kind of a staple. Also, it gets rocks, which, as I've said every week, rocks are going to be a priority against my team. And I'm pretty sure he's bringing Primarina because that thing just hits really hard. Probable, I'm pretty sure he's going to bring Landorus, but in the past, if there's been one Mon he's left off of his super powerful Sand, it's been the Landorus. So, I mean, that'd be great if he doesn't bring it. I think he's going to. I think the 5 of Dracozolt, Bronzong, Tyranitar, Primarina, and Landorus are almost certainly coming. And then possible, I could actually see him bringing any of his last 6 Mons in the possible spot. I don't particularly think his tier 5s are coming, but so the main ones I think is he could bring Azelf, just to be speedy and do a decent amount of damage. Savali could come because it can be whatever type he wants it to, and then Mega Sharpedo is still pretty threatening, and so it could come too. Yeah, so with that, let's get into the team that I'm bringing. The first thing I noticed and that I'm going to be bringing is a Choice Scarf Tapu Koko yet again. And this is because Tapu Koko with a Scarf guarantees outspeed Dracozolt in Sand. It lets me outspeed a Mega Sharpedo that was boosted to +1 and Oko both of those. And just Thunderbolt and Gleam actually have pretty good coverage against his team in general. So the one thing I'm worried about with Koko in this set is that I only set it to modest, and if he ran a Scarfed Azelf, he could max speed, he could outspeed it. I don't think he's going to run that, but it's a possibility. But I really wanted the extra damage, and so that speed EVs is enough to outspeed a Choice Scarf Azelf speed creeping a max speed Lycanroc. So a little bit getting into it, being aggressive with my creeping, but you know, if he runs a Choice Scarf Azelf, either he's going max speed or he's creeping. He's not just going to throw some random ones in there. So there's that for the Koko. Idea would be to whittle things down so Koko can come up and clean up in the end. So to help with the cleaning up, I have Garchomp this week with the Expert Belt. Now, I was between Expert Belt and Habanberry, so I could switch in better to the Dracozolt this week. However, doing some calcs, Expert Belt really helped me pick up a lot of KOs that I wouldn't otherwise be able to pick up with Outed. And so I decided that, you know what, we're just going to go with Expert Belt for the extra damage, and max speed to outspeed the Landorus, max attack to get as much damage as possible, Force Bit F just cuz, and then we have Earthquake, Quench, Aqua Tail, and Scale Shot, and that I think hits everything on his team, not necessarily super effectively, but there's nothing that can really switch into everything. So Mega Sharpedo is pretty frail, so it gets bought by Earthquake for the Dracozolt, and Tyranitar super effectively. Aqua Tail hits the Lando super effectively, and that was specifically one thing I wanted the Expert Belt for. Crunch for the Azelf. I don't hit any Primarina super effectively with anything, but Earthquake still does a chunk to it, and it can't take 2. So Valley, who knows what it's going to be. Bronzong I got the crunch for, because I think he might switch in, thinking, oh, he's got Earthquake and Dragon moves I can switch in freely. Nope. Flareon gets hit with the Earthquake. Hitmonchan gets hit hard with an Earthquake, and Gourgeist has crunch there. So Garchomp should be able to take care of most of his team. Scale Shot's there just in case I have an opportunity to kill something with it and get the +1 speed. It actually, if he brings Adamant Dracozolt at +1, I can outspeed even the Sand. If he brings Jolly, then he can outspeed. But that's why I have Sandveil. There's 20% chance that he clicks a move and he'll miss. I also thought about being really cheeky and bringing Bright Powder, but I decided that's probably not the best choice. Also, it wasn't as useful. Like I said, I'd rather rely on like a Habanberry to take a hit from Dracozolt if I didn't want the power from Expert Belt, rather than giving a 10% more chance that I'm going to dodge a move and go into hacks. So that's the Garchomp set for this week. Next up we have Lycanroc, which it's cool. I get to run Sand Rush on it this week because of his sand, and it's kind of like my counterplay. Like if you go ahead and set up the sand, then that helps me out, and Lycanroc can come in, and it'll be the fastest thing. And so I have Stone Edge, Close Combat, and Crunch. This hits most of his team, and then Accelerock is there just if I want a more accurate rock move, or also if I don't know if Sand's not up and I just want to be able to get some chip damage, maybe on the Mega Sharpedo or something like that. That's what the Excel Rock is there for. And I just went max speed, max attack because there's nothing, like Lycanroc's pretty frail, so there's nothing I really wanted to put those extra bulk EVs in for speed creeping. And also, if he's being an aggressive creeper, I could maybe catch him off guard and outspeed it. The extra EVs I did put in special defense just to give it a little boost because I get a little bit bulkier Spidef in the sand because nature of Lycanroc being a rock type. So then we got Hitmontop, Intimidate, fully defensive. Maybe it'll help with the Dracozolt. I don't know, Dracozolts can still do a lot of damage. But I have Rapid Spin, Triple Axle, Close Combat, and Toxic. I thought about running Mach Punch instead for potential of Mega Sharpedo running away with things, but to actually get some significant damage off on Mega Sharpedo, like to OHKO it, to OHKO it I would need like Adamant and Technician and I think a boosting item too, and I didn't really want to put all that in just for the Mega Sharpedo, so I could still take a hit from it if I switch it in, Intimidate, and so I just left Close Combat on there, and then Toxic so I can hit the Primarina if he switches in, because Triple Axle's there for the Landorus, but I don't know why he would switch in the Landorus when he has an excellent check in the Primarina that Hitmontop cannot touch otherwise. So there's that. Rapid Spin just to get rid of rocks if he gets them up, and Close Combat overall is just the most powerful stab to hit a lot of his team still. He doesn't have that many resistances. Yeah. So then we have Corviknight. This week I'm running in a body press setup set with Iron Defense, an Iron Head. So his real thing to hit Corviknight hard and super effectively is the Dracozolt. But Dracozolt is a physical attacker, so if I get a body press up, I can take hits from that Dracozolt fairly easily. So if I could set Corviknight in and get it set up on something like the Bronzong maybe, that could be a pretty good opportunity to set up and potentially win the game there. He could run like Fire or more likely Electric Silvally to do some damage to Corviknight. He could run Special Flareon, but overall I think Corviknight's a pretty good bring this week. And then we have Venusaur, who's my kind of do-it-all defensive mon this week. It's able to take a couple hits from Dracozolt, and it could switch into Primarina too with the Assault Vest and a decent amount of defense investment. The speed investment with Timid Nature is so I always outspeed a Primarina. And the 44 special attack is enough to 2-hit KO Primarina with Giga Drain. And then the rest into defense just to make it able to switch into Dracozolt, and then Assault Vest to help switch into Primarina easier, or if Dracozolt is running a mixed attack. So overall I'm going slightly more offensive this week, I think. Maybe a little bit of balance because I've got 3 main offensive mons, 3 defensive mons, but we'll see. This is a very offensive team. It's somewhat difficult to switch into. It's going to kind of have to be who gets some momentum and gets a leg up is going to be able to win this game. So with that, let's get into the battle and see how things go. Alright, here we are for the battle, and as you can see, he brought pretty much exactly what I expected in those 5 of the T-Tar, Primarina, Dracozolt, Bronzong, and Landorus, and then he has the Silvally. So that Silvally was the one thing I wasn't sure what he was going to bring. I thought he might bring it, but whatever. Overall, pretty good prediction on the team. Think built well. So here I'm going to lead Coco. Hopefully he leads Bronzong or even T-Tar. The one lead I don't want to see is the Landorus. Although even if the Landorus leads, I know I outspeed even if it's Scarf and can U-turn. So I lead my Coco, and Landorus is exactly the lead I see. So I know I can't stay in, so I'm just going to U-turn here. I'm predicting that he's probably going to predict the Corviknight switch in, because that's usually a pretty good switch into Landorus, and I think he's could be Scarfed even. I think he's just going to U-turn out right here. So I U-turn, and he goes for the Smackdown. Well, that's good tech. That's allows it to hit Corviknight, something I gotta be aware of. I'm pretty sure last season he brought like a Trick Iron Ball for my Gmax Corviknight, and so he knows how to deal with Corviknights. So yeah, I can't stay in here. I need Corviknight. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch into Hitmontop. It seems to be the best option. Yeah, and it takes a pretty hefty chunk, but still enough that he can't stay in, because triple axle is a move that I can have, and he knows he can't kill me. And so I'm gonna click close combat here. I know that Primarina could switch in, but I was between close combat and toxic, but I didn't really want Bronzong to get a free switch in, and I figured close combat could at least do a decent amount of damage. So he turns out gets crit, whatever. As I go for the close combat, and he does switch the Primarina in, which slightly unfortunate. Getting a toxic on that would be good, but I gotta switch out right here, and I'm going into my Venusaur, which is my Primarina answer, as he subs, and that's scary, but luckily I can deal with it. I outspeed with a Giga Drain. Crit didn't matter, would have got it anyways. And yeah, he goes for the Psychic. So here, and then he sees I can't kill me, and I outspeed. So here, I think maybe he's gonna switch out into the Bronzong, but I just decide, you know what, if he stays in, I want to get this Primarina down, and maybe I can recover health if he switches into anything but the Bronzong. Does switch to the Bronzong, don't get much health back. Here I'm going to click that knockoff I had, and that was there specifically for the Bronzong, gets rid of its leftovers, which you'll see in this next sequence, as that's of rocks, is very important, because he goes Iron Defense, and I know he's got that Iron Defense Body Press set. Luckily, I've also got Iron Defense Body Press. And so I'm gonna speed this up, because that's basically what this is gonna be, is a lot of Iron Defense Body Press up. And yeah, I'll slow it down for a little bit, just because here I do the calcs, and I know that with being max defense, I can go ahead and roost up. So I'm roosting up here, getting to decent health. I also have pressure, so I know that I'll run him out of body presses, and I'll be able to stall that out. The one thing I am worried about with this is the potential crit, and that would ruin things. So rather than just completely go up to full health, I'm gonna try to get some damage off, because I know I can live these hits. And yeah, I'm just gonna get some damage off, so if he does happen to get the crit, that I don't just go ahead and lose the game here. And so on that play there, that when he switched out, he was out of body presses. So I knew he was out of body press, so I was able to get up to full health. Now here, I know he's going for the Smackdown, but I'm just going to hit it as hard as I can with the body press to get damage off this Landorus. He does go for the Smackdown as I hit the body press. Now, here I think I make a little bit of a mistake. I believe that I still am able to live in Earth Power from this range, and does about 60%, because from the calcs, I think with gravity in place, I think Earthquake and ground moves are just a neutral hit, because I think that happened with Iron Ball last season is that he was attacking me with Earthquake, and I was just taking neutral damage from it. And so I could have possibly killed this Landorus with a body press here, and then I'd be up to full or max defense, and he doesn't really have anything that can OHKO my Corviknight, or even 2-hit KO necessarily, because Primarina I know is not specs already. But I didn't quite think of that in the moment, so I go ahead and just switch out to Venusaur here. And that is going to be a sack off of Venusaur, which was my main switch into Dracozolt. That could have been a bad misplay here. I know I can take one hit. I don't like these rocks. I'm trying to get rid of them. I thought he might switch out. He doesn't. So Hitmontop's probably going to go down. I don't know exactly. Like, I didn't bother calculating the speed. I'm like, hey, maybe I outspeed with +1. I don't know what that gets me to. I do not. I just die. But here I switch in Garchomp. Now, I thought about clicking my Scale Shot here. But Primarina could switch in, and then I don't really have anything that wants to switch into Primarina anymore. So, but a Aqua Tail into a Earthquake will kill the Primarina. A Crunch into an Earthquake also would and doesn't have the chance to miss, but Crunch doesn't guarantee I kill this Landorus, and I need to kill this Landorus. So I'm going to click Aqua Tail 90% of the time. I should hit it and and claim a kill right here. He does stay in. I do kill the Landorus. C goes into T-Tar. Now, if he's max HP, I have a 37.5% chance to OHKO. And I don't think he can hit me back here, so I'm just going to go ahead and click the Earthquake. There's also still the chance that whatever attack he goes for, he misses, or he just over-predicts something here. So I go for the Earthquake. I get the lowest possible roll as he goes for Ice Punch. Does not kill me. But yeah, like I said, that was actually the lowest possible roll. I don't think I would have killed anyways, but, you know, whatever. But that does give me a chance for me to get my Scale Shot off and +1. So that's great. So here he goes into Dracozolt. Now, like I said in the Team Builder, if he is a adamant Dracozolt, I outspeed and can kill with Earthquake. If he's a Jolly, he outspeeds and likely kills me with something. But then I can go into Coco and pretty freely get off. I think even Bronzong at the range he's at dies to 2 Dazzling Gleams. So he goes for Earthquake, and hey, Sandveil comes in clutch and gets the miss. Obviously, that matters. He would have killed the Garchomp otherwise, but you know, in the grand scheme of things, who knows if it actually did? Because either I could have gone into Coco and claimed a kill there with Gleam, or I go into Lycanroc and claim a kill, because at this range, I don't think even max defense Bronzong can take 2 Stone Edges from a banded Lycanroc. So here I just go for Crunch. That's dead. And here he goes into Primarina, which he said he thought would kill. He lived 100% of the time there. So yeah, but I didn't really want to switch anything else into Primarina. I just wanted to get damage, as much damage as possible off. I was like hoping he didn't overpredict. Yeah, so here I go into Coco and I Volt Switch out. Just get the kill. And here, I think I make a bit of a misplay going into Corviknight. If I had just gone into Lycanroc, I could have gone ahead and clicked Stone Edge, probably. Oh, it's a bit risky. May have clicked like Banded Close Combat just to get damage off. But he goes into Silvally, and it is electric. So this endgame, I have definitely not played the best here. I think he might kill with like a Thunderbolt or something, but I'm just gonna go for a Body Press. Just get damage off. Now, seeing he's physical, maybe I could have gone for an Iron Defense here, but I still think he's just gonna kill me. But no, he goes for the Flame Charge and gets a crit as I go for another Body Press. That crit was a bit unfortunate for a couple reasons. So now with the health that I'm at, he's going to be able to kill me with another Flame Charge. Had the crit not happened, he would have either had to get to +2 speed, go for another Flame Charge, in which I could have gotten another Body Press off, which would put Silvally in range of my Lycanroc's Excel Rock, or he would just have to kill me off with the electric multi-attack, and then Coco could come and clean up. Because it would outspeed. Unfortunately, he gets the crit and is then able to kill me off with another Flame Charge. So he's sitting at a pretty decent health. Here I'm going to go into my Lycanroc Excel Rock, just get damage to make sure that Coco can kill. So here, go into Coco. Surge goes back up. He clicks multi-attack. I live it. And Gleam. And get the 1-0 victory. I definitely could have played that endgame better. That endgame was definitely not the best work. Probably if I had just either gleamed the... I probably could have just gleamed the Primarina and then gleamed on the Silvally, although I didn't know what type it was yet. Or going into the... More likely going into the Lycanroc would have been the play. Because I was banded, I could have just done a lot of damage with either close combat or Stone Edge. So, good game to Middy. That was a lot closer than I would have liked, but still get a win. And we are going into non-conference play, going to be 4-1 + 9. Like I said, this is a super important battle because now we have the tiebreaker. So even if Middy and I finish with the same record at the end of the year, I will get in ahead of him based on the head-to-head tiebreaker. So really important battle, really hard-fought battle. And like I said, I could have played the end game better, but overall the results, fairly happy. So with that, I will see you guys later.